Hello, my friend. Here is a little clip on existential freedom from the perspective of Paul Tillich. Now, Paul Tillich was a 20th century theologian. So he approached existential ideas from the perspective of faith. And for Tillich, freedom isn't just about politics or society or about psychology. It is actually a question of how you are going to be as a human spirit in a world. And it is his concept of the courage to be, and read that book he wrote, The Courage to Be, because it sums it up beautifully. The concept of the courage to be is central to how to live with existential freedom for Tillich. He defined freedom as the power of the self to determine its own path, despite the pressures that the world puts on you. He viewed freedom as one half of a polarity. On the one hand, there is your freedom, which is your capacity to weigh up alternatives and to see what your options are and to make informed, deliberate choices in your life. On the other hand, there is destiny, which is created, according to him, by the facticity, like Sartre, of the givens of your life. It's about the given conditions of human existence, your biology, what you have learned in your life, your history, your capacity. You are never free from your destiny. These things impinge on you. They form you and they shape your life. And the more you are aware of how they shape your life, the more the space for freedom is opened. So freedom is actually the act of taking your destiny, all this messy stuff that you can't control, and to shape it into a harmonious, meaningful life which has a purpose and a sense of direction. Tillich spoke about 3 anxieties that trouble us on this path. He argued that freedom is terrifying because facing your freedom, facing this project of making something of your life, forces you to face 3 different types of existential anxiety. And the first one is the anxiety in relation to your fate and to death. This is Heidegger. The anxiety that death will put an end to all you have been, and how this gives you a sense of finitude and therefore of pressure to get it right. Which leads directly to the second anxiety, which is the anxiety about guilt and condemnation, the fear, the anxiety that your actions are not the right ones, that you are in the wrong, that what you do is wrong, or that you are wasting your time and your freedom. These are all feelings you have to face and work with. Thirdly, there is the existential anxiety about emptiness and meaninglessness. This is very much the Camus sides of things. The spiritual anxiety, though, as it seems to Tillich, that our lives lack a central point. So it's interesting because for Tillich, this is an anxiety you have to learn to work with, whereas for Camus, it was the truth of human existence. For Tillich, it's more something that you have to unveil, pierce through, and then you come out at the other end with the courage to be. And that is a specific kind of courage. It's different to the normal life that people live, which is a life of non-being, being a cog in a machine, being a nobody, being a number. To be truly free, you must have this courage to be, which is to affirm your own existence, even when it's faced with the void of meaninglessness, or when you don't like the way things are at the moment. You still need to find the courage to be as a part of the things that are, belonging to a group or to a cause and working with others, and B, the courage to be as yourself, the courage to find your individual uniqueness and not to fear it, but to be what you are and to dare stand alone and to dare have your voice heard. So true existential freedom, my friend, is a combination of those two elements. Belonging with others, contributing to the world, whilst doing it in your own way, synthesizing this tension in some way, and to have the courage not to be conformist, but also not to be isolated or nihilistic. So freedom is something quite different for Tillich than you might have thought. Essentially, it is about the essential self that you need to dare to affirm and discover. And for Tillich, as a theologian, that essential self is your true and even divine potential, which stands in contradistinction to your existential self, which is the messy self you are in this complex, difficult, fallen world. Your freedom is the bridge between those two. This is a very Kierkegaardian idea, to combine the infinite and the finite. That freedom is about being able to do that and bridge that. Nietzsche talks about that too, by the way. We use our freedom to align our lives with our essential potential. When we fail to do this, we experience alienation. For Tillich, freedom is therefore an act of faith, like Kierkegaard, a leap of faith. Not necessarily involving a god in the clouds or a mythological god, but involving the ground of all being that gives you the strength to be who you are and to choose to find your own way in a challenging world.